Here we discuss business reporting definitions and concepts. So, decision makers are in need of information to make accurate and timely decisions. So, information is essentially the contextualization of data. Information is often provided in the form of a written report, digital or on paper, although it can also be provided orally. Simply put, a report is any communication artifact prepared with the specific intention of conveying information in a presentable form to whoever needs it, whenever and wherever they may need it. It is usually a document that contains information, usually driven from data and personal experiences, organized in a narrative, graphic, and/or tabular form, prepared periodically or recurring or on an as required ad hoc basis, referring to specific time periods, events, occurrences, or subjects. In business settings, types of reports include memos, minutes, lab reports, sales reports, progress reports, justification reports, compliance reports, annual reports, and policies and procedures. Reports can fulfill many different but often related functions. Here are a few of the most prevailing ones. To ensure that all departments are functioning properly, to provide information, to provide the result of an analysis, to persuade others to act, to create an organizational memory as part of a knowledge management system. Reports can be lengthy at times. For those reports, there usually is an executive summary for those who do not have the time and interest to go through it all. The summary or abstract, or more commonly called executive brief, should be crafted carefully, expressing only the important points in a very concise and precise manner and lasting no more than a page or two. In addition to business reports, examples of other types of reports include crime scene reports, police reports, credit reports, scientific reports, recommendation reports, white papers, annual reports, auditors' reports, workplace reports, census reports, trip reports, progress reports, investigative reports, budget reports, policy reports, demographic reports, credit reports, appraisal reports, inspection reports, and military reports, among others. So here we are particularly interested in business reports. So what is a business report? A business report is a written document that contains information regarding business matters. Business reporting, also called enterprise reporting, is an essential part of the larger drive toward improved managerial decision making and organizational knowledge management. The foundation of these reports is various sources of data coming from both inside and outside the organization. Creation of these reports involves extract, transform, and load, or ETL, procedures in coordination with a data warehouse and then using one or more reporting tools. While reports can be distributed in print form or via email, they are typically accessed via a corporate intranet. So, due to the expansion of information technology coupled with the need for improved competitiveness in businesses, there has been an increase in the use of computing power to produce unified reports that join different views of the enterprise in one place. Usually, this reporting process involves querying structured data sources, most of which are created by using different logical data models and data dictionaries to produce a human, readable, easily digestible report. These types of business reports allow managers and coworkers to stay informed and involved. review options and alternatives, and make informed decisions. So this figure shows the continuous cycle of data acquisition, information generation, decision making, business process management. Perhaps the most critical task in this cyclic process is the reporting, example, the information generation, converting data from different sources into actionable information. The key to any successful report is clarity, brevity, completeness, and correctness. In terms of content and format, there are only a few categories of business report: informal, formal, and short. Informal reports are usually up to 10 pages long, are routine and internal, follow a letter or memo format, and use personal pronouns and contractions. Formal reports are 10 to 100 pages long. Do not use personal pronouns or contractions. It includes a title page, table of contents, and an executive summary, and are based on deep research or an analytic study, and are distributed to external or internal people with a need to know designation. Short reports are to inform people about events or system status changes, and are often periodic, investigative, compliance, and situational focused. The nature of the report also changes significantly based on whom the report is created for. Most of the research in effective reporting is dedicated to internal reports that inform stakeholders and decision makers within the organization. There are also external reports between businesses and the government. Example, for tax purposes or for regular filings to the Securities and Exchange Commission. These formal reports are mostly standardized and periodically filed either nationally or internationally. Standard business reporting, which is a collection of international programs instigated by a number of governments, aims to reduce the regulatory burden for business by simplifying and standardizing reporting requirements. The idea is to make business the epicenter when it comes to managing business to government reporting obligations. Businesses conduct their own financial administration. The facts they record and decisions they make should drive their reporting. The government should be able to receive and process this information without imposing undue constraints on how business administer or how business administer their finances. Even though there are a wide variety of business reports, the ones that are often used for managerial purposes can be grouped into three categories. The metric management reports. So, in many organizations, business performance is managed through outcome oriented metrics. For external groups, these are service level agreements or SLAs. For internal management, they are key performance indicators or KPIs. Typically, there are enterprise-wide agreed targets to be tracked over a period of time. They may be used as part of other management strategies such as Six Sigma or Total Quality Management or TQM. Next, the dashboard type reports. A popular idea in business reporting in recent years has been to present a range of different performance indicators on one page, like a dashboard in a car. Typically, dashboard vendors would provide a set of predefined reports with static elements and fixed structure, but also allow for customization of the dashboard widgets, views, and set targets for various metrics. It's common to have color-coded traffic lights defined for performance, red, orange, or green, to draw management attention to particular areas. We will have a separate topic that has more that we will discuss more details on dashboards. Then we have balanced scorecard type reports. This is a method developed by Kaplan and Norton that attempts to present an integrated view of success in an organization. In addition to financial performance, balanced scorecard type reports also include customer, business process, and learning and growth perspectives. So the components of the business reporting system, although each business reporting system has its unique characteristics, there seems to be a generic pattern that is common across organizations and technology architectures. Think of this generic pattern as having the business user on one end of the reporting continuum and the data sources on the other end. Based on the needs and requirements of the business user, the data is captured, stored, consolidated, and converted to desired reports using a set of predefined business rules. To be successful, such a system needs an overarching assurance process that covers the entire value chain and moves back and forth, ensuring that reporting requirements and information delivery are properly aligned. Following are the most common components of a business reporting system. OLTP, or Online Transaction Processing. This is a system that measures some aspect of the real world as events, like transactions, and records them into enterprise databases. Examples include the ERP systems, POS systems, web servers, RFID readers, handheld inventory readers, card readers, and so forth. The data supply is a system that takes recorded events, transactions, and delivers them reliably to the reporting system. The data, uh, the data access can be push or pull depending on whether or not it is responsible for initiating the delivery process. Can also be polled or batched if the data are transferred periodically, or triggered or online if data are transferred in case of a specific event. Next, the extract, transform, and load. This is the intermediate step where these recorded transactions or events are checked for quality, put into the appropriate format, and inserted into the desired data format. Data storage. This is the storage area for the data and metadata. It could be a flat file or a spreadsheet, but it is usually a relational database management system, or RDBMS, set up as a data mart, data warehouse, or operational data store, or ODS. It often employs online analytical processing, or OLAP, functions like cubes. Next, the business logic, the explicit steps for how the recorded transactions events are to be converted into metrics, scorecards, and dashboards. Publication, the system that builds the various reports and hosts them for users or disseminates them to users. These systems may also provide notification, annotation, collaboration, and other services. Assurance, a good business reporting system is expected to offer a quality service to its users. This includes determining if and when the right information is to be delivered to the right people in the right way or format. Data and information visualization. So, data visualization, or more appropriately, information visualization, has been defined as the use of visual representations to explore, make sense of, and communicate data. Although the name that is commonly used is data visualization, usually what is meant by this is information visualization. Since information is the aggregation, summarizations, and contextualization of data or raw facts, what is portrayed in visualizations is the information and not the data. However, since the two terms data visualization and information visualization are used interchangeably and synonymously, we will follow the wording data visualization. So, it is closely related to the fields of information graphics, information visualization, scientific visualization, and statistical graphics. Until recently, the major forms of data visualization available in both business intelligence applications have included charts and graphs, as well as the other types of visual elements used to create scorecards and dashboards. A brief history of data visualization. Despite the fact that predecessors to data visualization date back to the 2nd century AD, most developments have occurred in the last 2.5 centuries, predominantly during the last 30 years. Although visualization has not been widely recognized as a discipline until fairly recently, today's most popular visual forms date back a few centuries. Geographical exploration, mathematics, and popularized history spurred the creation of early maps, graphs, and timelines as far back as the 1600s. But William Playfair is widely credited as the inventor of the modern chart, having created the first widely distributed line and bar charts in his commercial and political atlas of 1786 and what is generally considered to be the first pie chart in his statistical breviary published in 1801. Perhaps the most notable innovator of information graphics during this period was Charles Joseph Minard, who graphically portrayed the losses suffered by Napoleon's army in the Russian campaign of 1812. Beginning at the Polish-Russian border, the thick band shows the size of the army at each position. The path of Napoleon's retreat from Moscow in the bitterly cold winter is depicted by the dark lower band, which is tied to temperature and time scales. Popular visualization expert, author, and critic Edward Tufte says that this may well be the best statistical graphic ever drawn. In this graphic, Menard managed to simultaneously represent several data dimensions: the size of the army, the direction of movement, geographic locations, outside temperature, etc., in an artistic and informative manner. Many more great visualizations were created in the 1800s, and most of them are chronicled in Tufte's website, edwardtufte.com, and his visualization books. The 1900s saw the rise of a more formal, empirical attitude toward visualization, which tended to focus on aspects such as color, value scales, and labeling. In the mid 1900s, cartographer and theorist Jacques Bertin published his Simulogy graphic, which some say serves as the theoretical foundation of modern information visualization. While most of his patterns are either outdated by more recent research or completely inapplicable to digital media, many are still very relevant. In the 2000s, the internet has emerged as a new medium for visualization and brought with it a whole lot of new tricks and capabilities. Not only has the worldwide digital distribution of both data and visualization made them more accessible to a broader audience, raising visual literacy along the way, but it has also spurred the design of new forms that incorporate interaction, animation, graphics, rendering technology unique to screen media and real-time data feeds to create immersive environments for communicating and consuming data. Companies and individuals are seemingly all of a sudden interested in data. That interest has in turn sparked a need for visual tools that help them understand it. Cheap hardware sensors and do-it-yourself frameworks for building your own system are driving down the costs of collecting and processing data. Countless other applications, software tools, and low-level code libraries are springing up to help people collect, organize, manipulate, visualize, and understand data from practically any source. The internet has also served as a fantastic distribution channel for visualizations. A diverse community of designers, programmers, cartographers, tinkerers, and data wonks has assembled to disseminate all sorts of new ideas and tools for working with data in both visual and non-visual forms. Google Maps has also single-handedly democratized both the interface conventions, click to pan, double click to zoom, and the technology 256 pixel square map tiles with predictable file names for displaying interactive geography online, to the extent that most people just know what to do when they're presented with a map online. Flash has served well as a cross-border platform on which to design and develop rich, beautiful internet applications incorporating interactive data visualization and maps. Now, new browser-native technologies such as Canvas and SVG, sometimes collectively included under the umbrella of HTML5, are emerging to challenge Flash supremacy and extend the reach of dynamic visualization interfaces to mobile devices. The future of data or information visualization is very hard to predict. We can only extrapolate from what has already been invented. More three-dimensional visualization, more immersive experience with multidimensional data in a virtual reality environment, and holographic visualization of information. There is a pretty good chance that we will see something that we have never seen in the information visualization realm invented before the end of this decade. Next, different types of charts and graphs. So often, users of business analytic systems are not sure what type of chart or graph to use for a specific purpose. Some charts and or graphs are better at answering certain types of questions. What follows is a short description of the types of charts and or graphs commonly found in most business analytics tools and what types of questions that they are better at answering or analyzing. So the commonly used basic charts and graphs are line chart. So line charts are perhaps the most frequently used graphical visuals for time series data. Line charts or line graphs show the relationship between two variables. They most often are used to track changes or trends over time, having one of the variables set to time on the x-axis. Line charts sequentially connect individual data points to help infer changing trends over a period of time. Line charts are often used to show time-dependent changes in the values of some measure, such as changes on a specific stock price over a 5-year period or changes in the number of daily customer service calls over a month. Next, the bar chart. Bar charts are among the most basic visuals used for data representation. Bar charts are effective when you have nominal data or numerical data that splits nicely into different categories, so you can quickly see comparative results and trends within your data. Bar charts are often used to compare data across multiple categories, such as percent advertising, spending by departments, or by product categories. Bar charts can be vertically or horizontally oriented. They can also be stacked on top of each other to show multiple dimensions in a single chart. Next, the pie chart. These are visually appealing, as the name implies, pie-looking charts. Because they are so visually attractive, they are often incorrectly used. Pie charts should only be used to illustrate relative proportions of a specific measure. For instance, they can be used to show relative percentage of advertising budget spent on different product lines, or they can show relative proportions of majors declared by college students in their sophomore year. If the number of categories to show are more than just a few, say more than 4, one should seriously consider using a bar chart instead of a pie chart. Next, we have scatter plot. Scatter plots are often used to explore relationships between 2 or 3 variables in 2D or 2D visuals. Since they are visual exploration tools having more than 3 variables, translating into more than 3 dimensions is not easily achievable. Scatterplots are an effective way to explore the existence of trends, concentrations, and outliers. For instance, in a 2-variable, 2-axis graph, a scatterplot can be used to illustrate the co-relationship between age and weight of heart disease patients, or it can illustrate the relationship between number of customer care representatives and number of open customer service claims. Often, a trend line is superimposed on a 2-dimensional scatter plot to illustrate the nature of the relationship. Bubble charts are often used or are often enhanced versions of scatter plots. The bubble chart is not a new visualization type. Instead, it should be viewed as a technique to enrich data illustrated in scatter plots or even geographic maps. By varying the size and or color of the circles, one can add additional data dimensions, offering more enriched meaning about the data. For instance, it can be used to show a competitive view of college-level class attendance by major and by time of the day, or it can be used to show profit margin by product type and by geographic region. Specialized charts and graphs. The graphs and charts that we review in this section are either derived from the basic charts as special cases, or they are relatively new and specific to a problem type and or an application area. Next, the histogram. Graphically speaking, it looks just like a bar chart. The difference between histogram and generic bar chart is that the information that is portrayed in them. Histograms are used to show the frequency distribution of a variable or several variables. In a histogram, the x-axis is often used to show the categories or ranges, and the y-axis is used to show the measures or values or frequencies. Histograms show the distributional shape of the data. That way, one can visually examine if the data is distributed normally, exponentially, and so on. For instance, one can use a histogram to illustrate the exam performance of a class. where distribution of the grades as well as comparative analysis of individual results can be shown, or one can use a histogram to show age distribution of their customer base. Next, the Gantt chart. These are special case of horizontal bar charts that are used to portray project timelines, project tasks, activity durations, and overlap amongst the tasks or activities. By showing start and end dates, times of tasks or activities, and the overlapping relationships. Gantt charts make an invaluable aid for management and control of projects. For instance, Gantt charts are often used to show project timeline, talk overlaps, relative task completions, a partial bar illustrating the completion percentage inside a bar that shows the actual task duration, resources assigned to each task, milestones, and deliverables. The PER chart, also called network diagrams, are developed primarily to simplify the planning and scheduling of large and complex projects. A PER chart shows precedence relationships among the project activities or tasks. It is composed of nodes represented as circles or rectangles and edges represented with directed arrows. Based on the selected PER chart convention, either nodes or the edges may be used to represent the project activities or tasks. Activity on node versus activity on arrow representation schema. Geographic map, when the data set includes any kind of location data or physical address, postal codes, state names or abbreviations, country names, latitude, longitude, or some type of custom geographic encoding. It is better and more informative to see the data on a map. Maps usually are used in conjunction with other charts and graphs as opposed to by themselves. For instance, one can use maps to show distribution of customer service requests by product type, depicted in pie charts by geographic locations. Often, a large variety of information, example, age distribution, income distribution, education, economic growth, population changes, etc., can be portrayed in a geographic map to help decide where to open a new restaurant or a new service station. These types of systems are often called geographic information systems.